I know most of you still don't consider Microsoft as a good security provider, but Microsoft is changing their whole strategy when it comes to endpoint protection. In fact, the name Windows Defender is not just the antivirus we all used to know and perhaps choose not to trust. Now, Microsoft Defender ATP or Advanced Threat Protection is the new thing, and it's a brand name that consists of many products, not just only the anti-malware. All those products are working together tightly using the power of the cloud and the signals from Microsoft Threat Intelligence to deliver a comprehensive solution that can protect endpoints from zero-day attacks and most sophisticated malware out there. As an example, Windows Defender Smart Screen block low reputation web downloads and even malicious websites, while Windows Defender Endpoint Protection monitors all Windows processes and files and then terminates or cleans any infection found. The next innovation that comes with Microsoft Defender ATP is the ability to automate the responses when an attack is detected, which is possible through a recent acquisition to a company called Hexadite, so that security admins don't need to worry much about responding to threats, as this is taken care of by the new automation capability. And the new way of defending against attacks is by utilizing the power of the cloud and the Intelligent Security Graph at Microsoft. Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph provides rich signals from vast security intelligence, machine learning, and behavior analytics that Microsoft's allow you to consume and use to enhance your protection and detection speeds. So when Windows Defender encounters a new file, for example, that it does not know if it's bad or good file, it sends a file query to the cloud. Hey cloud, do you know about this file? Now if the cloud knows about these files, it will provide a feedback to the endpoint. Otherwise, it will ask the endpoint to send a sample. The client holds the file and uploads the sample to the cloud. The cloud services will process the sample and check against machine learning classifiers, trying to find out whether that file is good or not. And then, if the file turned out to be holding a malicious code, the cloud will generate a new signature to that file and send it back to the client. Not only to that client, it will send it to all clients so that when they encounter this file, they know already to block it. Now you can see that many pieces came together to defend against today's zero-day attack. You need a strong endpoint detect and respond engine at the endpoint level. You need the power of the cloud to help you against zero-day attacks, and you need the power of machine learning and AI at the endpoint and at the cloud to recognize new type of malware that are seen for the first time. And you might be asking, does this mean the client needs to consult the cloud and wait for an answer? And what if there is no internet connection at that time? Well, here is how things are designed. Each Microsoft Defender client has local machine learning models and behavior-based detection algorithms, right? So this means you can use all that logic offline without consulting the cloud. This operation takes only milliseconds. But the client can consult the cloud by sending only metadata, so that cloud can use metadata-based machine learning models to determine if the file is malicious or not. These only take milliseconds also. But if the cloud requested a sample, then sample analysis-based machine learning models are used in the cloud, which might take seconds, not milliseconds, seconds. Now, in certain scenarios, detonation-based machine learning models can be invoked, which might take minutes, and big data analysis can take up to hours. What this means is that the client will not wait for minutes and hours. If the file is infected and the cloud could not determine it is a bad file in seconds, the client will allow the file to run. In the background, the cloud will continue working and analyzing and might do detonation-based ML models and big data analysis to get the truth about that file, so other clients are notified and updated, although we lost patient 0 or that initial client who encountered the file in the first place. When it comes to the cyber kill chain, we find that Microsoft Defender ATP fits in the advanced threat detection area, trying to detect and prevent malware from installing and using machine learning to detect zero-day attacks. Now it's time for our demo, finally. Now, attacks that introduce file-based malware using socially engineered emails are quite common. Recipients are tricked into launching a backdoor that gives attackers control over what is now a compromised machine. Now this demo simulates that attack. Simulates the attack that are launched using a socially engineered Word document in a spear phishing email. The attack is designed to ensure that the receiver does not suspect a thing and opens the document. The document, however, is weaponized with crafted macro code that silently drops and loads an executable file into that machine. The executable then writes a registry key and creates a schedule task, both commonly known auto-start extensible points. After the attack finishes, we can explore and understand how Microsoft Defender ATP detects and responds to the attack and enables prompt investigation and response. In this demo, I will start by onboarding a machine to Microsoft Defender ATP. Then, I will open an infected document from the user machine. The infected document drops a backdoor and creates a scheduled task for persistence. I will then show you how Microsoft Defender ATP can help you in all phases of the incident response management, including detecting an incident, mitigation and containment, recovery and remediation. You will then get the chance to explore the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal and see all the new features. Let's go to part 1 of this demo, onboarding a machine to Microsoft Defender ATP. In this demo, we are going to onboard a demo machine to Microsoft Defender ATP. To do that, I will go to securitycenter.windows.com to access the management portal, then Settings, and I will scroll down to find the Onboarding section under Machine Management. Here you can see different ways to deploy Microsoft Defender ATP, including Group Policy, System Center Configuration Manager, and a local script. I will quickly choose Local Script and click Download Package. I will run this script to my machine to onboard it to Microsoft Defender ATP, and as you can see, it takes a couple of seconds. Now, this machine is protected and managed by Microsoft Defender ATP. So as you can see, there is no need to install anything, just running a script to guide this machine to report to the right Microsoft Defender ATP tenant. In part 2 of this demo, I'm going to deliver a malware to the demo machine. Let's pretend that this machine is a Windows machine of a user who received this Word document. It could be delivered to him by email, a chat window, or by any other means. Now when the user opens that document, he sees this tempting yellow bar in the top to enable editing. And then of course there is that macro bar that users cannot resist, and they feel they need to hit that enable content. A few seconds later, a hidden PowerShell script is launched from this document's malicious macro, and it performs the following actions. First, that macro drops an executable file which represents the backdoor onto the desktop folder. Then the script goes on to create a scheduled task to launch the backdoor at a predefined time. And finally, when the backdoor is launched, it creates an auto-start entry under the registry run key, allowing it to stay persistent by starting automatically with Windows. You can also see that Microsoft Defender ATP detects what's happening, and this is where we will continue the demo by logging on to the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal. Now that the malware is delivered to the user machine, we are going in part 3 of this demo to detect and investigate the attack on Microsoft Defender ATP portal. Let's switch to our Defender role and explore the attack from the SOC point of view in the Microsoft Defender ATP portal located at securitycenter.windows.com. Microsoft Defender ATP applies correlation analytics and aggregate all related alerts into one incident entity, allowing the SOC analyst to understand and deal with complex threats across the organization with the right visuals as we see here. Let me select this incident and then open the incident page. You can see in the incident page all alerts related to this incident, all machines involved, investigations, evidence, and graph. Here I am at the alerts page. Reviewing the incident alert list unfolds the progression of the attack. From this view, you can dive into individual alerts. You can also see all machines affected by this attack. Here we have 3 machines, for example, with high security risk. The graph is also a great visualization that shows all machines involved in this attack and all entities involved. So for our machine, we can see there is a PowerShell script involved, and you can see the hash value of that script. The script creates a schedule task to persist after reboots. Here is also the Office Word process that starts the whole attack when a user opens the infected Word document, and finally you can see executable file or backdoor that was dropped from the infected Word document. Now let me go to the Demo 3 machine, and as you can see, each machine protected by Microsoft Defender ATP has its own page. On the machine page, you can see different sections like alerts, timeline, security recommendations, software inventory, and discovered vulnerabilities. You can see also the risk level of that machine, the logged on user, and basic information about the machine like the domain membership and operating system information. Let me open this alert as we try to reproduce how the attack took place. The alert is, a PowerShell dropped a suspicious file on this machine. You can see the process tree. Here we have the Windows Explorer process and the Word document that triggers the PowerShell script. Now that script did 2 things, drops a backdoor and creates a schedule task as you can see here. You can also go deeper and see the full PowerShell script that was invoked on that machine and the hash value of that script. You can also see the hash value of the backdoor file, and this is useful if you want to search if the same backdoor exists on other machines. Now if you want to know more details about the schedule task that was created by this attack to persist after reboots, you can see here the command used to create the schedule task by the malware. This is so powerful. I will go to the alerts page again and let's open this alert, suspicious PowerShell command line. And as you can see, you have the same process tree and even a nice graph showing all entities related to this PowerShell. Here you can see the same PowerShell script is invoked on a machine called Demo 1, which is so important to know. Not only we discovered the attack, but now we can reimagine how it happens and what machines were infected. I will go now to the machine's timeline to get more details about all events happening on that machine to ease investigation. Here you can see each and every process activities recorded for every machine. For example, you can see we have the Office click to run executable establishing a connection to a remote IP. You can see the command line that was run, the hash of the executable, and the remote IP, URL, and even the port number. Now let me filter the timeline for alert related events, and we now have a filtered view of all suspicious activities in that machine, including the suspicious PowerShell command line. And to show you how this is a powerful thing, let me filter the view and search for PowerShell. You can see immediately I can see all events and suspicious activities that involves PowerShell on this machine. So for example, I have a PowerShell created a script and the behavior is document exploit. And we have the winware.exe created the process PowerShell. Here we have the context, which is the user called master. Now we know that the Word document created a process called PowerShell.exe, which invoked a suspicious PowerShell script that dropped a backdoor and created a scheduled task. Now that you learn how this attack took place, it's time to take some actions. I will go to the incidents section and open the incident page for this attack. You can see I have the action and assistance section. Here I can resolve the incident or assign the incident to me so that others in the SOC team can acknowledge that I will be investigating this one. Before conducting the investigation, however, it's a good idea to look at the reports dashboard. It provides high-level information about alerts and machines-related information generated in your organization. The report includes trends and summary information on alerts and machines. Knowing the trends and summaries related to alerts and machines in your organization can help identify where focused improvements can be made. For example, if you see a sudden spike in a specific kind of alert, you can drill down and start investigating directly from the relevant card to pivot into the alert or machine queue with the relevant filters applied and determine what action to take to address an issue. Finally, I want to show you one of my favorite tools to help you investigate incidents. Remember that the infected Word document was found on the machine that drops a backdoor executable and invoked a suspicious PowerShell. I can copy the hash of the Word document and use the search bar to see if this Word document exists on any of my other machines. Doing that gives me more information about this document, like the digital signature and hash values, and whether this document was seen on other organizations globally to give you more insight if this is a targeted attack or not. You will also get alerts related to this document, and the most important part is you get a list of machines where Microsoft Defender ATP sees that file in your organization. In this case, we have 3 machines where this Word document gets dropped. This is important for you as a security professional because it's not just mitigating the threat on one machine, but you really want to see if this attack spread to other machines and then cover all infected machines during your investigation. Before we end up this demo, let me show you another interesting feature called automated investigation. Microsoft Defender ATP can start an investigation and automate a lot of actions without human interactions and using machine learning. Here you can see Microsoft Defender ATP recognizes a dangerous tool called Mimikatz running on one of my machines, and it automatically started an automated investigation for me. If you watch one of the famous crime scene investigation or CSI TV series, you know that investigators at the crime scene start by gathering evidences and ask witnesses to learn more about what just happened. This is the same thing we have here under the investigation graph. We have the dead body, which is the machine or machines list. We have the witness list, people who might know more about this crime. And in our case, we have the entities analyzed. So Microsoft Defender ATP is investigating 2,342 files, 150 processes in this machine, 262 services, and a couple of drivers. In the TV series, the investigator will look at the list of phone calls made by the victim before the crime happens, and here Microsoft Defender ATP is investigating the list of IP addresses this machine talked to during that period. And all this investigation to all these entities is finished after 45 seconds only by Defender ATP. This is the true power of automation. We have the list of alert part of this investigation, list of machines infected, a view of all entities involved in this investigation. As you can see, we have 3,420 entities involved here, and the investigation log, which is list of action Microsoft Defender ATP took during this investigation. And we have one pending action that Defender ATP asked me to confirm before closing this investigation. I already approved this pending action, which is to quarantine the Mimikatz folders and executable. In part 4 of this demo, we are going to log into Microsoft Defender ATP portal and collect investigation package from the infected machine. When your forensic team is involved to understand how the attack happened and truly understand the depth of the attack, the first thing they want to do is to collect as much information from the infected machine. Microsoft Defender ATP gives you the ability from the management portal to go and collect an investigation package that your forensic team can use. So here I'm logged to the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal, and I can see I have a couple of alerts and I have some machines at risks. Let me quickly choose Demo 3 machine and open the machine page. I can quickly see the risk level of that machine. Obviously there is one incident with 7 active alerts, so it might worth investigating. You can see a list of actions in the top bar. As these actions you as security professional can perform remotely from the management portal without going to the machine itself. One of the actions is collect investigation package. If I click it, this will send a request to the local Microsoft Defender ATP agent on that machine, instructing it to collect forensic information right now from that machine and send the results back to the Microsoft Defender ATP cloud services, and then make it available to me as a security professional from the portal so that I can continue my investigation. I already did that, so in the Action Center, I can see there is an item waiting for my review. I can see the investigation package is now ready for me to review. I will open it quickly and see what's inside. Here you can see a lot of information made available for you to help you in your investigation. Let me start by the autoruns, as most attacks involve modifying the autorun on machines to persist after reboots. So it's a good thing to review the autorun configuration for the infected machine. You also get a list of installed programs on that machine. The list contains information about each application installed on the machine, the date of installation, and other more detailed information for you to review. Next, we have the network connections, very important piece of information. If the attack is still happening on that machine, you want to learn about what this machine is communicating with. So here you have the active network connections on that machine, including ports and IPs this machine is communicating with right now. You can also get both DNS cache and ARP cache, just in case DNS poisoning or ARP poisoning is taking place in this attack, and to help you understand how the machine is performing name resolution. You also get the firewall execution log and the IP configuration of the machine, which might become handy for your forensic team. The investigation package also includes a list of processes running on that machine, which gives you deep insight about what is happening inside that box without even touching that machine. You also get the scheduled tasks information to learn if an attacker creates a scheduled task on that machine, perhaps to persist after reboots. As you can see in the Excel sheet here, you get a lot of information about each scheduled task on that machine. Now my favorite one is the security event log. Here you can search inside the security log files of the infected machine and analyze all security events to help you understand more about the attack happening. Next, you get a comprehensive information about services running on the remote machine, including service name, running state, service account used to run each service, and the associated process ID for running services. You get also information about SMP sessions taking place on that machine, because remember, attackers might move from machine to another by using pass the hash technique, and they can use SMP for lateral movement. So here you get a list of all SMP sessions. System information is another good information you get as part of the investigation package to learn more about the machine and the hardware profile. Finally, you get information about all local groups on that machine, as you can see here. You also get information about session information, so you can see that a user called master is connecting to this remote machine using RDP protocol. You get a forensic investigation summary file containing information about how Microsoft Defender ATP collected all this information together. For example, Microsoft Defender ATP agent on that machine ran this command to collect the process list and generate a CSV file. This can help you as a security professional to learn which commands you can use to collect forensic information, which I believe is so handy. In part 5 of this demo, we are going to explore Microsoft Defender ATP remediation actions, like running antivirus scan, restrict app execution, and isolate a machine. These can be considered your mitigation and containment tools in your incident response management. I'm at the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal, and I can see I have many alerts in the active alerts section. I can find all machines at risk here, so I will check on the demo 3 machine to zoom in and see what's happening on that machine. Here you can get the risk level of the machine and all associated alerts. In the bar above, you also get list of actions you can do remotely to that machine. As part of the investigation or response process, you can remotely initiate an antivirus scan to help identify and remediate malware that might be present on a compromised machine. You can select the scan type that you'd like to run. You can choose between a quick or a full scan. I will type a comment and select yes to start the scan. Now immediately the Action Center shows the scan information as you can see here. Now on the machine itself, you can see that the scan completed successfully. Returning back from the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal perspective, the machine timeline will include a new event reflecting that a scan action was submitted on that machine. Windows Defender AV alerts will reflect any detection that surfaced during the scan. This action is available for machines on Windows 10 version 1709 or later. A Windows Defender antivirus scan can run alongside other antivirus solutions, whether Windows Defender AV is the active antivirus solution or not. So say for example you have semantic antivirus running on that machine and you are not using Windows Defender anti-malware or real-time scanning. You can still invoke a remote antivirus scan from Microsoft Defender ATP portal, and this will wake up the Windows Defender anti-malware engine if it is not the primary anti-malware service on that device, and ask it to run a quick or full scan depending on your choice. In addition to the ability of containing an attack by stopping malicious processes by running an antivirus scan, you can also lock down the device so that only programs and executables signed by Microsoft are allowed to run on the device and anything else will be blocked. This method of restriction can help prevent an attacker from controlling compromised machines and performing further malicious activities. So let us restrict app execution on the machine. I will type a comment and select yes, restrict app execution. Now immediately the Action Center shows that the app restriction command is pending. As I am running on the machine itself, you can immediately see what the user can see on the machine. I get a notification that the device is restricted along with a message explaining what is happening on that machine. Remember that this action only prevents any program not signed by Microsoft from running on that machine, so the user can open Microsoft Office applications without any problems and even browse the web. But if the user tries to install anything not signed by Microsoft, like for example installing Adobe Reader, for example, this action will be blocked along with a notification explaining to the end user what just happened. This is a good balance between security and usability. From security perspective, we are restricting executing malicious code, but from the other side, the user can open Outlook, Excel, and communicate using Microsoft Teams, for example, so that he can still be productive while security teams investigating the problem. Now, depending on the severity of the attack and the state of the machine, you can choose to reverse the restriction of applications policy after you have verified that the compromised machine has been remediated. And you can see the action appearing in the Action Center, which becomes the hub of notification for all action performed on that machine, so you can track back all action performed by you or anyone in the security operation team over time. Now that the app restriction is removed, we can try to install Adobe Reader on the machine again, and as you can see, there is nothing preventing you from doing so now. Just keep in mind that for the app restriction to work, you need two things. First, you need to be running Windows 10 version 1709 or later, and this feature is available if you are using Windows Defender Antivirus as your malware engine. Now, depending on the severity of the attack and the sensitivity of the machine, you might want to isolate the machine from the network. This action can help prevent the attacker from controlling the compromised machine and performing further activities such as data exfiltration and lateral movement. This machine isolation feature disconnects the compromised machine from the network while retaining connectivity to Windows Defender ATP service, which continues to monitor the machine. So your machine will not be able to connect to any IP except the IPs of the Windows Defender ATP cloud services, so that you can keep an eye on what's happening on that machine and continue your investigation. Now, if the machine is running Windows 10 version 1709 or later, you get another cool feature. You can do a selective isolation, which means you can say this machine is not allowed to connect to any IP except 3 services. Number 1 is the Microsoft Defender ATP Cloud Services. The second one is the Exchange Online Services. And third is the Skype for Business Services, as you can see here. This means you don't want the user to be able to do anything on the machine in terms of network connectivity except using Outlook and Skype for Business, which makes it easier for the user to contact the help desk, or the other way around. It is easier for the security team to contact the user of the machine using Outlook or Skype for Business, explaining to him what is happening. Now, if I choose to isolate the machine, the end user of the machine will receive a notification card stating that the network is disabled and that your IT administrator has caused Windows Defender to disconnect your device and you should contact IT help desk. Now, just a reminder, the full isolation works for Windows 10 version 1703 or later, while the selective isolation is available on Windows 10 version 1709 or later. Selective isolation means the machine can only talk to Microsoft Defender ATP cloud services and allow the user to use Outlook and Skype for Business. Now, depending on the severity of the attack and the state of the machine, you can choose to release the machine from isolation after you have verified that the compromised machine has been remediated. In part 6 of this demo, we are going to explore more features in Microsoft Defender ATP that helps you harden your environment by following security and configuration recommendations from Microsoft. We are going to explore Secure Score, Advanced Hunting, Threat Analytics, and Threat and Vulnerability Management in the Microsoft Defender ATP. I'm logged on to Microsoft Defender ATP Management Portal and I will go to the Secure Score section. The Secure Score dashboard expands your visibility into the overall security posture of your organization. From this dashboard, you will be able to quickly assess the security posture of your whole organization, see machines that require attention, as well as recommendations for actions to further reduce the attack surface in your organization, all in one place. From there, you can take action based on the recommendation configuration baselines. Now, the Microsoft Secure Score tile you see here is a reflective of the sum of two things. First, the Windows Defender security controls that are configured according to the recommended baselines, and the Office 365 Secure Score. It allows you to drill down into each portal for further analysis, just in one place. You can also improve this score by taking the steps in configuring each of the security controls in the optimal settings. Now let me go to the Threat Analytics section. Threat Analytics is a set of interactive reports published by the Microsoft Defender ATP research team as soon as emerging threats and outbreaks are identified. The reports help you assess the impact of threats in your organization and provides recommended actions to contain, increase organizational resilience, and prevent specific threats. So let me open this threat, for example, and you can see executive summary information and deep dive on how this threat actually works in a nice visual. You also get some mitigation steps and detection details, all to help you understand how this threat actually works. The nice thing is that for this emerging threat, you can see a list of machines vulnerable to this threat and whether this threat is mitigated across all your workstations. I will go now to the Threat and Vulnerability Management section, which helps you detect and assess threats across endpoints. For example, I can see many areas of improvement in my environment. These areas are listed here, such as the application, the OS, network, accounts, and security controls. If we take the operating system area of improvement, for example, we can see our score is 41 out of 183, which means I can do better by following Microsoft recommendations. Let me click on the operating system improvement area and learn more how I can raise my configuration score. Here I get list of security recommendations, like this one right here, and I get information about this security recommendation and how to harden my workstations, along with list of machines who don't comply, which I believe is a great insight that helps you quickly fix this on the list of machines here, instead of just going to every machine and trying to solve the problem. If we go to the security controls improvement area, you can see also a couple of recommendations like enabling smart screen, some firewall rules configuration recommendations, and enabling pet locker on Windows machines. Again, for each one of these recommendations, you get the list of machines that don't comply. Now your objective would be to raise your overall configuration score by hardening your machines from emerging threats and following Microsoft recommendations. Another area I want to talk about is advanced hunting, which is a super powerful tool during your investigations. Here you can get the schema for information collected by Microsoft Defender ATP, and this helps you build your own queries. But don't worry, you have some ready queries for you made by Microsoft engineers, like searching for hidden PowerShell windows across all your workstations. Here you can see the query language, which is quite simple, and down you can see we have one machine called Demo3 that Microsoft Defender ATP agent observed the creation of hidden PowerShell windows. This can be a suspicious activity that's worth investigating. You can also query for all internet downloads across all your machines. And here we have this machine, and this machine downloaded Adobe Reader from the internet using a browser. Now this become handy if, for example, you are investigating an infected machine and you want to filter this output to see what this machine downloaded from the internet during an attack. Finally, remember that attacks happen usually using the context of a compromised user. So if you suspect that an attacker stole the credential for a certain user and use that credential to perform past the hash to move to other machines, you can switch your investigation from focusing on the workstation to tracking identities and what they are doing across machines. And identity tracking allows you to track lateral movement inside your environment. So I can search for a user called master and ask Microsoft Defender ATP to return all his activities across all machines. So here we have the user logging onto two machines, and we can zoom in and see what activities or alerts are associated with this user on a certain machine, which is so powerful. Now Microsoft has a great solution called Azure Advanced Threat Protection, or Azure ATP, that can integrate with Microsoft Defender ATP and fill the gap when it comes to detecting anomalies using compromised credentials. I highly recommend that you have a look to Azure Advanced Threat Protection and enable the integration between the two products. I'm going to leave you with some resources to learn more about Microsoft Defender ATP to help you detect attacks while they are happening in your environment. If you work in the security field, you most likely know what is incident response. You have a security incident, which is a result of attack or malicious or intentional actions. And part of your role is to respond to security incidents when they happen. Now, an effective incident response management is handled in several steps or phases. You have detect, response, mitigate, report, recovery, remediation, and lessons learned phase, which feeds back to the detect phase again to improve your detection and response. Let's now see how Microsoft Defender ATP features are mapped to different phases of your incident response management. In order to respond to an incident, you need to detect it first. So Microsoft Defender ATP alerts help you detect incidents when they happen on your machines. After detecting and verifying an incident by analyzing the alert in Microsoft Defender ATP Management Portal, and depending on the severity of the incident, you might activate your incident response team to help investigating the incident, assessing the damage, and in the remediation and collecting evidence. In the response phase, Microsoft Defender ATP consolidates related alerts into an incident. So instead of dealing with dozens or hundreds of alerts, Microsoft Defender ATP will automatically group related alerts and create an incident for you. You can assign the incident to individuals, and you can change the status of incidents in the portal. This gives your security team or your incident response team a focused view on what needs attention. Inside the incident, they can see all machines involved in that incident, all alerts, evidences, and a nice visual graph to help your team in their investigation. Now in the response phase also, your forensic team or incident response team might need to collect more information about the machine, like what services are running on that machine, list of applications installed, auto-run configuration, and more. Here you can use Microsoft Defender ATP Collect Investigation package to help you collect such information right from within the management portal and without even touching the infected machine. Next, we have the mitigation phase, and let me be clear on what this phase means. Mitigation in incident response management attempts to contain an incident because one of the primary goals of effective incident response is to limit the effect or scope of an incident. This can be, for example, disconnecting the network interface to prevent the malware from spreading or prevent the attacker from leaking data outside. Now, in this phase, it might be important not to turn off the infected machine when containing an incident, as doing so means you are going to lose the temporary files and data stored in memory, or it might be you want to study and learn what the attacker is doing on that machine without letting him know you discovered the attack. Now, Microsoft Defender ATP offers two great mitigation features. First, we have the app restriction feature, which restricts the machine from running any software not signed from Microsoft, and the isolate machine feature, which is exactly like disconnecting the network card of the machine, but with allowing that machine to communicate with Microsoft Defender ATP service so that you can monitor what's happening on that machine meanwhile. After you mitigate the incident, you should report the incident within your organization and perhaps to individuals outside the organization. This might be to comply with laws and regulations, and you can use Microsoft Defender reports to help you in that. After you mitigate and report the incident, and after collecting all evidences from that system, the next step is to recover the system or return it to a fully functional state. From the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal, you can start an antivirus scan on the infected machine. You can quarantine a file, or this might be happening automatically for you by Microsoft Defender ATP thanks to the new automated investigation feature and the recent acquisition of a company called Hexadyne. Now, recovery might also mean rebuilding the whole machine from a new image depending on the nature of the attack. In the remediation stage, you attempt to identify what allowed the incident to occur and then implement methods to prevent it from happening again. This includes performing root cause analysis. Here is where things get interesting, as Microsoft Defender ATP offers many things to help you identify what happened across all your machines. You already have the investigation package you collected earlier, which is a great source of information to learn about open network connections, SMP sessions, local groups, process lists, and more information from the infected machine. You can also use the machine timeline feature in the Microsoft Defender ATP management portal to reproduce all events happened on that machine during the attack, and you can even go back in time and see what happened on that machine. This includes learning about what each process is doing, what network connections were opened, and by which executables. You can also use Microsoft Defender ATP Advanced Hunting and write your own queries or use the built-in queries available for you in the management portal that allows you to hunt for possible threats across your organization using a powerful search and query language. And finally, you have the lessons learned phase. Here you are trying to prevent this incident from happening again and review your old security posture. Microsoft Defender ATP offers a lot of capabilities that can help you harden your environment by following security recommendations written by Microsoft engineers. The Secure Score expands your visibility into the overall security posture of your organization. From this dashboard, you will be able to quickly assess the security posture of all your machines. Threat Analytics is a set of interactive reports published by Microsoft Defender ATP research team as soon as emerging threats and outbreaks are identified. The reports help you assess the impact of threats in your environment, and provides recommended actions to contain, increase the organization resilience, and prevent specific threats. And you have the threat vulnerability and management capability in Microsoft Defender ATP, which helps you detect and assess threats across your endpoints. By now, you know how Microsoft Defender ATP helps you in your incident response management and in hardening your environment by following security and configuration recommendations by Microsoft. Let's not forget the role of automation and machine learning that can significantly reduce the work you should do in responding to incidents.